Hello story lovers, welcome to Folks and Tales, your one-stop channel for stories that inspire and lessons that last. The Yoruba Kingdom, as an African community known for the production of cashew nuts, had lots and lots of cashew trees. Each family had several plots of cashew tree, and people came all the way from different parts of Africa to purchase the nicely roasted cashew nuts, some for importation. This gave the communities under Yoruba Kingdom a facelift as it raised the economy of the kingdom. Apart from the cashew nuts, the ripe cashew fruits were also sold in local markets. It was all fun for two brothers, Buchi and Cheesy. They came from a responsible home. Their father was Ndubisi and his wife Nneoma. Although they didn't have much, but they always lived in oneness and happiness. Ndubisi was a truck loader who helped load cashew nuts already bagged into lorries going to different African countries. He was always paid for this, while his wife Nneoma sold roasted cashew nuts in the community market. They struggled to keep the family going. The two brothers loved each other and did everything together. They were inseparable, bound not only by blood but friendship. Though 2 years apart in age, they acted and seemed more like twins. Buchi, the elder brother, was so smart, calm, thoughtful in nature, and loved helping his parents out. He acted like the older one, which he was, and always protected his brother. But unlike Buchi, Cheesy was lazy and full of mischief. He always grumbled whenever he was called upon to do something. Irrespective of his behavior, Buchi, his brother, still loved him that way. Buchi would always pressurize to convince his brother to join him to the farm, fetch firewood, and even go to the stream. They would always laugh and exchange jokes while running errands. Years passed and they were all grown men. One day, Buchi received an opportunity to go to the city to start a new life. This was a bittersweet moment for the brothers. Their parents were so happy for Buchi and advised him before his departure. Though it was an exciting news, they all knew they would miss Buchi dearly. Cheesy helped his brother pack and fold some of the clothes they shared. In the morning of Buchi's departure, the brothers sat together under the mango tree in the compound. With their hearts filled with unspoken words, they allowed nature to take over as they observed the view of the sky and the birds flying. "Promise me you will be a good brother and son to Mama and Papa." Buchi broke the silence with his voice shaky. I promise, Buchi," Cheesy replied him, holding back his tears. It was finally time for him to leave and he bade his family goodbye. Cheesy insisted in escorting his brother to the nearby junction. On getting there, Buchi said the final goodbye to Cheesy because that's where he was to board a bike. He hugged his brother and whispered to him, "Stay safe." The journey to the city was like an adventure for Buchi, which he was already open to. Life in the city wasn't easy for him as he worked tirelessly, having in mind that he had a family to cater for. His brother Cheesy always sent him letters, which always kept him going. Buchi always supported his family with the little he had, since he wasn't able to visit because of his busy schedule. His parents and younger brother always appreciated his effort and blessed him more. Few years later, Buchi's parents died from an accident. They were on their way back from the farm. Ndubisi and his wife Nneoma rode on their bicycle when a truck driver who had lost control of the brake and hit Ndubisi and his wife. The people passing ran to Cheesy and narrated the story to him. Cheesy wept as he followed the villagers to see the body of his parents lying lifeless. The next day, Chizzy looked for a means of sending a letter across to his brother through the drivers that go to the city. But he couldn't hold his tears when he heard the news. He felt like he hadn't taken care of them enough, as they didn't reap the fruit of their labor. As the elder, Buchi returned home and consoled his brother. Without wasting time and with the advice of the elders, he buried his parents after 1 month. Years went by and everything went back to normal. Buchi finally settled down and got married with 2 kids, Chikamsu and Chini. His brother Chizi followed suit and bore a son, Nonsu. Buchi had finally saved enough money to bring his brother and his family to the city. He had already arranged a home for them and found a job for his brother Cheesy to survive there. The lives of the brothers remained harmonious until Okudiri, Cheesy's wife, unveiled her character of being so manipulative. Okudiri was a beautiful woman but with a heart of deceit and envy. She was cunning and began to plant the seed of discord in the mind of her husband. Her jealousy towards the bond between the brothers increased day by day. Okudiri's plan began with random comments. Papa Nonsu, have you noticed that you are always behind, and your brother is always ahead of you? If he loves you, he will carry you along and not leave you behind. Cheesy did not mind her words. He dismissed her remarks and warned her not to repeat such again, saying that Buchi had been the best elder brother he had ever had. But Okudiri was relentless. Whenever Buchi visited, she would use the same strategy on him, and he would whisper to him, "Your brother isn't acting mature like a man he should be. He feels entitled to everything you have and doesn't want to work for himself. Maybe he still thinks this is your father's house. I hope he is not forgetting all the sacrifices you made for him to get here." Buchi would always reply that he isn't complaining and it is right to take care of Cheesy as his younger brother since his parents passed away. He would say that Cheesy is all he had and he would always do the best for him. Okudiri's plan didn't stop there. She continued creating discord in the minds of the brothers. She twisted their words to cause mistrust, and over time, her comments grew more deceitful and her lies more convincing. One day, Cheesy asked his brother for some money, but Buchi, who did not have enough at the time, told his brother to be patient, that when he gets some money, he will give him. Cheesy disbelieved his own brother and got upset. Buchi wants me to be begging him every time, eh? This small money that I have demanded from him is what is so hard to release. He's acting like I can't do without him. Maybe what Okudiri has been saying is true. I need to show him that I can stand on my own, Cheesy said to himself. Okudiri, who has been waiting for this moment, just found out that Buchi didn't give her husband the money he demanded. She decided to strike with her cunning nature. Papa Nonso, I have been telling you, but you refuse to believe me. This your brother just wants you to be a slave and a beggar to him. He doesn't want you to do better than him, so he has blinded your eyes. Do you know that if you were the first son, you would have sold one of your father's farmlands and would have gotten the money you need? You need to be a man of your own now, or you forever be a slave to your brother. God forbid, Cheesy exclaimed. Mama Nonsu, it is unfortunate, but I'm beginning to see reasons with you. Buchi can never make me a slave to himself. Cheesy, who show him that I can do without him. Cheesy said this with a tune deep and his face darkening in anger. Yes, my husband, now you are making sense. We will show that wicked brother of yours who we are, Okudiri said, smirking. Okudiwi convinced her husband to tell his brother to share their father's land. Buchi, on the other hand, did not know that his brother's wife had finally manipulated him. Chizi invited his brother over, saying that he had something to discuss with him. Buchi wondered what was so important that would make his brother urgently invite him over, so he decided to go see for himself. Getting there, Chizi brought up the discussion concerning the selling of their father's lands. This was so sudden to Buchi, as he noticed the coldness and hesitation as he conversed with his brother. "My brother, is everything okay? You are surprisingly sounding serious today," Buchi calmly asked. "Everything is fine. I just need my own share of the land, as I want something of my own," Chizi replied in a harsh tone. Chizi, but I already mentioned to you that I farm on that land, which we normally share the money every year. Why do you suddenly want me to share the land? I have already planted cassava and corn everywhere, and we can't share the land until those items are ready for harvest. Because I know you want to sell your own share, which will be a loss to us, as we have goods that will give us a good amount of money. Once we harvest this one, we'll share the land, and you can do whatever you want with it," which he explained to his brother with a mild tone. "I disagree, oh. We must share the land now, Buchi. I don't care if you have planted heaven and earth on it. Just give me my share immediately, or what will happen won't be good, oh," Chizi ranted with a threatening voice. Buchi, who was in shock, seeing the sudden change of his brother and the rude gestures made by his brother's wife, replied, Chizi, calm down. We are not fighting. As a matter of fact, you're still my younger brother. You don't raise your voice at me when we are just trying to have a conversation. "Okay, I will share the land this weekend, so please come to the village." Buchi had always avoided anything that would make him have problems with his brother. He loved his brother so much and wanted to do everything he could to make him happy. So he agreed and, as promised, shared the land equally with his brother. This was not supposed to be that way because he is the elder one. Buchi was entitled to have a larger share, but he didn't want to have any problems with Chizi, so he shared the land equally. Chizi still wasn't satisfied with the way his brother shared the land, but pretended as if he was okay with it. One fateful day, Buchi received the news that he had been promoted and he will be moving with his family abroad to work there. This was a shock to Buchi, as he never saw this coming. He shared this exciting news with his family and they all rejoiced. With that excitement, Buchi headed straight to his brother's house to give him the news. "Chizi, guess what?" Buchi exclaimed. Buchi, this one you are excited like this. What's the great news?" Chizi asked curiously. "I have been promoted and I am moving abroad with my family in 2 weeks." Buchi replied, expressing his joy by dancing. Chizi froze in shock. His jaw tightened but was forced to smile. His mind was filled with bitterness, envy and resentment as he heard the news. "That's good news," Chizi muttered. He avoided looking at Buchi to his face so he wouldn't notice the anger on his face. Buchi, who was caught up in excitement, failed to notice the bitterness in his brother's voice. "I'll be moving very soon, and who knows, when I settle and save up, I can bring you and your family over." The words hit Chizi. Bring me and my family over? This guy must really think of me as a slave. I don't blame him. That's all he wanted. He always wanted me to beg him all his life. But this will be the end of it. I will show him that I, Chizi, can be a man on my own, Chizi said in his mind. That's kind of you, brother. I'm so happy for you. I'll be leaving now. I want to go and arrange some things, Buchi said as he got up to leave. Immediately Buchi left, Chizzy got up in anger, pacing. No, never. Over my dead body will I allow him to travel and leave me here? He thinks he can just treat me like a slave every time, eh? I will show him I'm better, Chizzy exclaimed, kicking the chair that was beside him. Chizzy told his wife about the update and they decided to do something about it. Chizzy finally convinced his brother that he should pay him a visit and come over for dinner before leaving with his family. Mesoma, Buchi's wife, had a bad feeling about the visit. She tried convincing her husband not to go, but Buchi insisted, saying Chizzy is only his brother and he had to see him before leaving. The next day, Buchi made his way to his brother's house. Chizzy rushed and hugged his brother. I'm going to miss you, my brother, he said with no emotions. Buchi settled down and a bowl of steaming soup was set before him. This is a treat, he said, smiling at his brother. Anything for you, my brother, Chizzy replied cunningly. This is really delicious, Buchi testified. Chizzy's heart raised as he watched his brother eat. His palms were damp with sweat. Chizzy got up, went to get water for him to drink, as Buchi commended Chizzy's wife for preparing such a delicious meal. As minutes passed, Buchi began to feel uncomfortable. Chizzy, Buchi gasped as he whispered slowly, something's wrong. Chizzy, who was already returning from getting the water, watched his brother beckon on him for help. For a moment, he felt guilty, but quickly snapped out of it after remembering all the things he felt about Buchi. Wrong? Chizzy asked, pretending to be concerned. Perhaps you ate too quickly, brother. Buchi collapsed on the floor, his hands holding his throat as he began to seize slowly. Help! Help me, please! He choked as he tried to search his brother's face if there was any compassion. Chizzy stood without compassion, watching his brother struggle. You always had everything, didn't you? You always wanted me to be a beggar and slave to you, pretending like you love me. Chizzy, who earned that today? Chizzy, why? Buchi managed to speak as tears rolled down his cheek. His stomach began to hurt as if his intestines were being grounded. Chizzy ignored him and carried his family to the other side of the house, leaving him there to die. Okudiri, who conspired with her husband, was proud of him. The native doctor was certain it would work. You see, now you have acted like a man that you are for the first time. Well done, my husband. You can now acquire all the lands and properties. Mama Nonsu, I am thankful for a wife like you. Thank you for opening my eyes, which was blinded by my wicked brother. Chizzy replied, turning to his wife. That's why I'm your wife. Okudiri grinned. The husband and wife were rejoicing over the downfall of Buchi, while Buchi was still struggling for help. Buchi's strength faded. Gods of our land! I, Buchi, have never wished anyone, including my brother Chizzy, bad. Please, come to my aid, he cried. Few minutes later, Buchi began to vomit blackish things from his mouth. He vomited until it was as if his intestines wanted to come out also. When he stopped vomiting, he looked for the way out. He hoped that Chizzy and his family would not see him. As soon as he got out of the compound, he tried to hurry home so he can get medications, as the village had no good hospital. On getting home, he explained everything to his wife, who was already worried. I wasn't having a good feeling about this, but we thank the gods you are okay. May the gods bring Chizzy and his wife to justice. Miss Omar said sorrowfully. Buchi asked his family not to go out for a while, since they didn't know what Chizzy might be planning next. Chizzy and Okodewi were so disappointed after hearing that Buchi survived. They decided to lay low for a while. A week later, Chizzy fell ill. He was taken everywhere, even to the native doctor, who gave them the poison to kill his brother Buchi, but they could not heal him. Few days later, Chizzy died. On the day of his burial, Buchi, who heard the news, decided to go pay his brother the last respect. On getting there, Okodewi stopped him from entering the compound and coming near her husband's corpse, accusing him of killing her husband. She warned him not to come anywhere close to her family again, and Buchi left. It was time for Buchi to travel abroad, and he left with his family. The children started school there and began to acclimatize to the environment. The love Buchi had for his brother left him a little worried. He knew in his heart of hearts that Okodewi was the one who sowed the evil seed in his mind. The love Buchi had for his brother left him a little worried. He knew in his heart of hearts that Okodewi was the one who sowed the seed of evil in the mind of his late brother. Buchi was loved by his white colleagues because of his open-mindedness and diligence. Few months later, Buchi got the news that Okodewi was caught up with an unknown incurable disease. The disease was said to spread round her body as black big spots grew all over her body. She stopped going out as neighbors avoided her. She had to send her son Nonso to her sister's place because she didn't want him to watch her suffer. Some days later, Okodewi passed on. Buchi offered to take his brother's son abroad in 3 months' time. But Okodewi's sister refused, saying it was Okodewi's wish for him to stay with her. Buchi gave the family money for Okodewi's burial and never saw the community again, as it brought him bad memories. Moral lesson: those with pure hearts will always have good rewards. Jealousy leads one to doom. How about you? What did you learn? Well, thanks for watching, story lovers. Again, this is Folks and Tales. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a big thumbs up. Comment and share this video to other story lovers. Also, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever we upload the video. We will be uploading intriguing and captivating stories multiple times per week. You don't want to miss them. Until my next one, peace and